Hey, Kilted Warrior here. Hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe if you enjoy this video, and if you'd like to see more videos covering Elder Scrolls, Fallout and Mass Effect, feel free to check out the channel. Otherwise, let us begin. Feel free to skip this chapter if you want to get straight into it. Know that the question of the day is, what is your favourite class or archetype build and why? You can be as general or specific as you like. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Anyway, I just have a few pointers regarding this style of video and future content. So these builds are meant to be generally lore friendly, but since they're meant to be for enjoyment, they won't always be strictly canonical builds, though they will never feel out of place and will always have references to lore. Also, these builds are possible with vanilla, but are meant to benefit more from having mods. Personally, I'm using a heavily modded load order that I put together for this video. I will list any relevant mod considerations if you're curious. Otherwise, I want to make it clear that I'm still doing my core lore videos, and this is more of a test run video. I will sometimes also incorporate a build into my core lore videos, for example with my next one, which is on Mephala and the Morag Tong. I will be including a suggested Morag Tong build. Also, though these builds will always be Skyrim playable, I will be doing Morrowind focused ones from time to time, and even Oblivion ones if enough people ask for it. I will try to make my videos applicable to multiple of these games. For example, the aforementioned Morag Tong will have a Morrowind build suggestion, of course. That said, make sure to give me your thoughts on these build videos and how I might improve them going forward. Otherwise, let us begin. The Questing Knight. High Rock is known for its tales of chivalric knights, serving kings and queens since their orders emerged as the region's premier fighting forces in this prosperous but decentralized province that gave the Empire many of its most talented knights wielding blade and spell. Yet how does one become a legendary paladin of High Rock? Well, they must prove themselves worthy by travelling the lands and perfecting their martial prowess while honouring their vows. Roleplay mechanic. Honour your vows. A true knight must honour their vows, for it is a crucial part of Bretonic chivalry, for they are expected to go out into the world and become an exemplar of the values that strengthen character and hold back the darkness. Every knight must take a vow and embark on a great quest to prove themselves worthy to become a paladin. So pick an ideal vow for your knight and a notable objective that they will seek to complete to become an exemplar of their vow. I shall give an example, and also there will be additional subclass vows that I will mention later. The vow of empathy. Many knights seek glory by slaying great beasts, serving a noble lord, earning riches. They can be arrogant and self-centered, yet some knights care about the common people. They fight not for glory, they fight to protect people, rich and poor, from all threats, not for gold, not for accolades, but out of empathy for their fellow mortals.
Won't get away with that. You're dead. You hear me? Dead. You're dead. You hear me? Dead.
The Questing Knight. So the Questing Knight is meant to be a heavy tank that specialises in warrior abilities with the added bonus of some magic. For equipment you want heavy armour, of course. I suggest the iron plate armour early on due to its visuals looking quite appropriate for a Breton as compared to the Nord iron armours. For weapons, you mix a one-handed weapon of your choice with a shield and a two-hand weapon as a secondary. But if you are like me with mods that make swords less effective against heavy armour, you may want to use a mace as well or a warhammer. Of course, this still applies to vanilla, as there's still an unlock to gain armor piercing with your mace and warhammers. For magic, keep it basic. You are a warrior with a focus on combat abilities, at least at first, rather than a mage. The magic will come later with subclasses. You're not a hybrid at the moment, you're meant to be a melee bulldozer to start with. As for the race, you technically don't need to be a Breton for this, it's more for lore and thematic purposes. But also the Breton does make for a great anti-mage, and if you use a mod that allows for magicka to be used to block spells like with say Valhalla Combat or Sekiro, then the Bretons or Altmer with their bonuses allows them to be great anti-mage questing knights. Again, the questing knight is expected to face different enemies, including mages, so either enchant that armour with a resistance or pick up the Atronach stone if you're not a Breton. That then brings us to the standing stones. I like to take the Atronach stone as mentioned, as it leans into the anti-mage element, but also gives you that larger magicka pool, which again will be helpful later when you do more magic. It also encourages more tactical use of magicka. But also the lady can be good if you use say a standing stone mod. I'm currently using Mundus Star, which allows it to improve blocking and gives health regen. For those among you who use attribute mods, you will want to focus on strength, endurance and willpower, or their equivalents depending on the mod you're using. As for the vanilla attributes, you're mostly going to be health at first, but with a little bit of stamina and maybe even a tiny bit of magicka towards the 10th level. As for the skill focus, you want to focus on block, heavy armor, one-handed and two-handed, as well as one skill of magic for basic spells. I suggest restoration. So that makes up the base framework of the questing knight, with how you should sort of start at level 1 and going towards level 10. The subclasses I'm about to go into are all meant to be level 10, with one of them being level 15. Therefore the idea is that by about level 5 you want to be going towards your subclass to make sure it works well. The Templars of High Rock, by the Light of the Divines. The Templars of High Rock are the military arm of the Temples of the Divines, swearing to guard the sacred places of their patron deity and to espouse their values. You may pick any of the Divines and build your Templar around it, but I will give a few examples of the ones I like to do. Knight of the Circle. Serving noble Arche, these knights have sworn to defend the circle of life and death. Like their patron, they maintain neutrality, not just in a political sense, but spiritually, as they seek to find balance. With the rise of many undead in Skyrim and chaos caused by the Civil War, necromancer covens have been allowed to thrive. This knight seeks to hunt them down and restore balance with holy fire and conviction. They are the guardians of graves, and as such any magic that harms undead is key as a tool in their fight, their crusade. And should you be worthy, as a true follower of Arche, perhaps he will honour you with the sword of the Crusader. The Vow of Graves. A Knight of the Circle has vowed to Arche that they will defend against any who try to disrupt the circle of life and death. You vow to guard where the dead rest, ensure that souls are guided to Ephirius, and put down any and all undead, not out of hatred, but as a mercy. You shall not plunder the graves or bodies of the dead, for that would be to disrupt the peaceful dead. You are to never befoul yourself or your vow by practicing the dark arts of necromancy, and you shall hunt down any who practice it and deliver Arche's wrath upon them. Knight's Mentor. Under the guidance of wise Julianos, the Knight's Mentor seek to acquire and protect knowledge, seek out those worthy of their tutelage, for these knights are also scholars, mages and academics, who know that wise use of arms is necessary to protect the world from those who use knowledge recklessly and without restraint. These masters of lore, usually wielding blade and spell, seek out necromancers, Daedric cultists, and any who would try to hoard knowledge for nefarious purposes. They are the guardians of knowledge, harsh teachers with little time for fools, but ultimately, like their patron, are of noble ideals. The Vow of Wisdom. Julianos is a god of logic, wisdom, and a humble teacher. As one of his knights, as a mentor, you must vow to follow his wise counsel and impart it to others. You vow to use knowledge and magic for the betterment of the world, not for personal gain, nor to hoard power for yourself. You vow to share your knowledge with those wise enough to deserve it, and shield the unwise from knowledge that might bring disaster. You vow to be a bulwark against the reckless mage who lacks wisdom and is foolish enough to dabble in forces beyond their control. You vow to temper your own desire for knowledge with wisdom and experience. You vow to protect the written word from the abuse of the corrupt and seek to uphold the law, Julianos' law, and that of the gods, that of justice, as you are the arbiter of law and magic.
Is someone there? Can't hide from me.
Kynaran Knight. Looking to the Sky Goddess to show them the way, the Knights of the Kynaran Order seek to perfect their prowess, to honour the warrior goddess, hone their bodies, mind and soul. These warrior monks seek to guard the balance of nature, protecting both her mortal children and those of the wild. As such, her creations found in nature do not harm the Knight of the Kynaran Order, so long as they respect the land. For they are warriors and hunters, seeking communion with their goddess through harmony with the land. Any who disrespect the land or threaten her children will be destroyed with the might of body and mind. as like the goddess these noble knights strike with a tempestuous fury if angered. The Vow of the Warden. Kynaran is the goddess of the skies and protects the sacred places and guides her children safely through nature, maintaining harmony between mortal kind and nature. As one of her knights, you vow to be a warden that guards nature from those who would harm it and disrespect the sacred places. You vow to patrol the paths and roads through nature, protecting travelers, pilgrims and merchants from the fury of nature, but also from bandits and vagabonds. You vow to be at harmony and peace with nature, but should Kynaran call you, you shall be her storm launched against her enemies and those who harm her children.
Alright, you got it.
The Divine Crusader. Some knights serve an ideal or a patron deity, yet some serve many, for the Knights of the Nine fight for the honour of all the divines, and even then, only one among them may call themselves the Divine Crusader, like Pellinal Whitestraight before them. This knight has proven themselves worthy to wield the Crusader relics, created and blessed by the divines so that their champion can fight against the darkness. With the sword and mace of the Crusader in hand, and donning the shield and armour, this holy warrior seeks out the darkness and brings the holy wrath of the divines upon their enemies. The Vow of the Nine Graces. The most sacred of vows that any knight may espouse, for it involves emulating the greatest teachings, gifts and graces of the 9 divines granted to their mortal children. You vow to Akatosh, the leader of the divines, to be steadfast in your duty. You vow to Kinrith to protect the land and all the creations of the divines. To Stendar, you vow to have the strength to be merciful and protect the weak. To Mara, you vow to be kind and to defend love across Tamriel. To Julianos, you vow to uphold the law and act with wisdom. To Debella, you vow to appreciate the beauty of existence and protect it from evil. To Zenithar, you vow to be charitable and fair in your dealings. To Arche, you vow to protect the cycle of life and death. And finally, to Talos, the god of mortals, you swear to be a heroic defender of mortal kind. Final thoughts. Go forth, noble knights of High Rock, for great deeds await. I hope you enjoyed this first attempt at a build video for the channel. Make sure to give me feedback on how I might improve it in the future. Are they too long? Could the structure be changed? And whether I should bother with subclasses? And also if I should incorporate them into my core lore videos. Regardless, remember that the question of the day is, what is your favourite class or archetype build and why? You can be as general or specific as you like. I certainly would like to hear your thoughts on what you like to play, and if there's a particular build you would like to suggest that I cover, let me know in the comments, I would love to hear it. With that said, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and next time we will be returning to the usual lore video structure, and I hope you will join me. Otherwise, please stay safe and have a great day.